The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the February 2nd, otherwise known as the Terrific Thursday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. And let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that, well, is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, well, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstances life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I want you to know I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here. But even more important than that, and that's this, during this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone. Would love to hear from you at 877-927-6648. Now, if you can't call in, but you have a question, go ahead and send me an email. Send that to steve@tfnn.com. And inside the subject, and if you'd be so kind to put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, then any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on Terrific Thursday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, we got a slightly mixed bag out there. It's the Dow that is the struggling index out there. It is off 93 points, trading down to 34,000. Almost even Steven. The S&P is up 1.5% or 61 points, 3 2/8% for the NDX 100. That's 407 points. The Russell's up 2%, 39. The semis are up 1.25% or 38 points out there. Gold's trading out 19.38, with silver trading out at 23.87. Light sweet crude back 17 pennies, 76.25. Natural gas up 9 cents on a 30-year Treasury, printing out 132.15. It is up almost 1 full point. If we take a look at what's moving and grooving to the upside, it's Align Technologies, 83 buckaroonies, 30%. That is a move. Granger is up 61 bucks or 10%. Facebook, Meta Platforms up 25%, 39 bucks. Mercado Libre joining the gang, up 30 bucks, 2.5%. SVB Financial up 10%. That's equal to $31.70. The shakers to the downside, United Health up 25 bucks, 5%. Air Products down 23 bucks or 7%. Humana 22 bucks, 4%. Murphy USA 21 bucks, 7%. John Deere 20 bucks, about 5%. Elevance Health 21 bucks, about 4%. So we've got some movers and we've got some shakers. But let's begin by taking a look at the strong index out there, and that is the NQ. So we'll switch over. We'll take a look at our white panel charts out here. We'll get a feel for what it is doing and what it's not doing. So first, let's go take a look at what it's doing by looking at the daily time frame. As you will see today, I'll just simply expand out the chart. Then we're all looking at the daily time frame chart out here. What you will see is we have a TD 9-count pattern. We've got an A to B equals CD pattern. So that's underway. That's beyond the 1-to-1 area out there. So that would say for that pattern to generate a sell the D point, you need to have a bearish reversal candle. See, the whole reason why I had my arse handed to me 15 years ago or so is because I used to just buy and sell the D points out there. But after enough times when you take some heat on that, what you do is you try to figure out the reasons. Why did that pattern not work out there? And that's when I then moved into understanding Japanese candlesticks. In Japanese candlesticks, real power is at the completion of a pattern. And here, that's how we use it for the A to B equals CD. Well, in the case of the NQ, it generated a sell the D point pattern. It did that 4 trading days ago when it formed that bear sash candle. Remember, I developed this oscillator and change line to help me understand when a retracement was just a retracement. When the line is green, that tells you the price oscillator. That's the difference between two things. In my case, I use 39 and 19 period exponential moving averages. When price is above a green oscillator and change line, that tells us we have a rising price oscillator above zero. Those are bullish conditions. Price pulling back and testing a green oscillator and change line is just simply testing a very key area of support. In essence, that's what took place a couple of days ago. Did price set it exactly? No, but it stayed above that green oscillator and change line. So even though we had a sell the D point pattern, its conditions were really neutral. Price would have had to have closed below that green line. That would have told us that the momentum had faded out there and that we might see a further pullback to another area of support, which in this case would have been down at the 11,808 area. And that's not what we have. What we have here is a TD9 count pattern that will complete today near its breakdown resistance level, and that's at the 13,054 level. We're trading right now at 12,811. But here's the story. The story goes like this. We also have a potential wave number 7 pattern out there, but that one I kind of put off to the side. We don't need more topping signals. We've got enough out here as is. If whatever today's high is, if price closes above that, that tells us about a very strong momentum move to the upside. You do have that resistance at 13,054. So we know that there's a TD9 count on the daily time frame. What else do we know about the daily time frame out here? Well, one thing that we know is that today is going to become bar number, or should become bar number 3 of consecutive days higher out there. And if we look back at prior, just looking for its pattern, looking for its dance steps, this is the NQ that we're looking at, we'll see most of its dance steps was the Texas two-step out there. Mostly we had 2-bar knee-jerk reaction moves to the upside, then we had some moves to the downside. Well, we do have a few that, we had a 1-7 consecutive day move. That was back on January 17th. That was really a signal to us that there was a change in trend out here. So today would become bar number 3. Well, bar number 3 was what formed the high back out here on October 25th. So odds favor. We can see one bar number 4 out here. That's back on the trading session of September the 12th. Odds favor that we should see some type of pullback. There should be some type of top, both with regard to the daily TD9 count top, and then secondly with regard to consecutive days moving higher, with today being number 3. Now, if all that is going to identify a top for us, we should see some topping patterns on the intraday charts. Well, the 5-hour chart negated its TD9 count top, or is negated as we speak. It's not the candle does not complete till 2 p.m., so I can't be 100% certain of that. We are also in wave number 7, that's letter G. So it's got some topping potential signals out there. And also there's an A to B equals CD pattern. If there were to be a bearish reversal candle on a 5-hour bar, that would confirm a sell the D point pattern. That's exactly what is also needed on the 4-hour time frame chart, is a bearish reversal candle to confirm a sell the D point. That's also what's needed, appears on the 2-hour chart. Now this current candle here is going to complete at noon. And if price closes above the 10 a.m. high bar, that is at 12,748.25. A close above that says strong momentum move to the upside for the 2-hour time frame. We are going to form a TD9 count top. It appears here on the 60-minute chart. Let's just update that. So we are in bar number 9 right now. 90% of the time, price will go on after it's got a bar number 8. It'll go on and make a bar number 9. And 10% of the time, it'll go on and do the bar after. But we don't have here are any real confirming signals on the intraday time frame to suggest that what we looked at on the daily out there, that we've got a top that's in play. We really seem to need to see intraday topping patterns on those charts, and then we need to see price close below support. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We get back to this break. Let's take a look at some requests that have come in. We've got Sava, Fuel Cell, ticker symbol MP. We've got a request to take a look at XBI, and we'll do all of that. We're going to take a look at Microsoft as well as soon as we get back from this break.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar, yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. So let's go to our first request out here. It's from Doug. Wants to take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft's chart looks a lot like the NQ chart we looked at, which is that today is going to complete the TD9 count pattern. Whatever today's high is, and I'm not saying it's the high of the day just yet, whatever today's high is, if price closes above that high tomorrow, well, this will also tell us about a strong momentum move to the upside. We can see that price is trading into a prior swing point. That was from December the 13th, with 42 million shares traded that day. So far, with about 2 hours of trading, we are currently at that almost 13 million shares. So if I just take 13 times 3, that's going to get me up to 39 million or so. We're 42 million for that swing point. So it's not clear to me if we're coming to that swing point with or without volume right now. It looks to me like it's light volume, but we really have to see what it looks like at day's end. So if we're coming in with light volume, maybe we are going to see that TD9 count top inside of Microsoft. On a weekly basis, Microsoft is trading into a swing point as well that had 229 million shares. So far for the week, we are at 96. So we do know that on a weekly basis, price is pushing into a swing point with lighter volume. So that says to Stevie, okay, the TD9 count makes a lot of sense as being a short-term top. Price perhaps pulling back to the 245.87 level. That's the current daily green oscillator and change line. The monthly chart says, hey, Microsoft has put in a nice bottom. It's a TD9 count bottom. We're back inside its profile out there. A close this month above 251.16. Well, it's only the second, but a close above that would suggest we move up towards the 280.11 area out there. So Microsoft shows a TD9 count top, much like the NQ out here. And the only intraday chart that I will show will be the 30-minute time frame chart. And what we'll see here is we do have a potential wave 7 top out there, a potential TD9 count pattern that will complete. So this is 11:30. That'll be bar number 8, 9 at noon, and 12:30. So by 12:30, between now and 12:30, we may see a TD9 count top on a 30-minute basis to at least suggest a short-term pullback out there. But Microsoft, much like Apple, does have topping signals out here. And if it does pull back, it does retrace, most likely it's back towards its oscillator and change line, unless there's a new profile that forms. That's not the information or the signals that we have right now. So I hope that helps you out. The next request is coming from Dan inside the Tiger's Den. He wanted to take a look at Fuel Cell. FCEL is the ticker symbol. This is negated, or it did negate yesterday, a wave number 7 top. What it does have is an A to B equals CD pattern. So taking that swing point out with volume. Well, the swing point, which was January 26, 12.8 million shares. Yesterday, we did 10.8 million shares. So far today, in the first 2 hours, trading 7 million shares. So that says we appear to be taking out that swing point with volume. So that, Dan, would then set up an A to B equals CD. I'm just going to draw in the A to B line out there. We will move that over to the C point, and this will give you an approximation as to where price may be targeting. Approximation because I'm not using an exact tool out here. This gives me a target area of about 441. Well, if we look at the weekly chart out there, we'll see that Fuel Cell has a TD9 count breakdown level at 449. So it does appear, Dan, that where Fuel Cell is headed to is at 449 level. I do seem to recall you wrote in the Tiger's Den this morning, if price were to close above 450, this thing will get traction to the upside. I think it's already got some traction, but you're absolutely right. It would get some really nice traction to the upside. However, above 449 is another level for you to mark on your pad of paper, and that is at 462. And that is currently the weekly top of its profile out there. So Fuel Cell looks good. If I take a look at the 30-minute chart out here, and we actually update it, it looks like this is negating a TD9 count top. It did not negate it, not just yet, Dan. That would need a close above, not a tag above, but a close above 419. You get a close on a 30-minute base about 419, this is off the race. Right now, it's a TD9 count that has led to a sideways move. That's really what you'd like to see out there to tell you about the strength inside of Fuel Cell, FCEL. So overall, looks pretty good. Watch that 30-minute chart to give you a signal as to what its next intent is. So I hope that helps you out on Fuel Cell Technology. Let's go to the next request, which were for Cassava Sciences. SAVA is the ticker symbol. It's got a beautiful Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom pattern. That actually confirmed on January the 27th. It reconfirmed on January the 31st out there. And now we have a new profile that price is trading above, and that is at 30.84. A close above 30.84 will be another bullish signal for you, and that would suggest a move up towards its most recent swing point. That's anywhere between 34.50 up to 38.53. If you look at the weekly time frame chart, what we see here is a good old-fashioned consolidation between 26.31 and 37.55. Next resistance level for you is 32.18. Don't quote me to the penny because it's going to go up or down. And on a monthly basis for Saba, you just have a consolidation with $41 and the oscillator and change line really being the key resistance level. So overall, Cassava Sciences looks pretty good. Actually, I see that 30-minute we haven't looked at the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart here for Saba has negated its TD9 count, and it did it right away. You form the bar after bar number 9. That was at the 10:30. Then the 11 o'clock bar closes above that high. We're above the high of the last bar. This is a very bullish setup as we speak. So Cassava Sciences, SAVA, at least on its 30-minute chart, does not have any kind of a topping signal, and you're above the top of the daily profile. So Cassava Sciences, yeah, is a little rocket ship out there. The next request that we have is left over from yesterday, and that was to take a look at Tilray. It was Tilray and ACB, Aurora Cannabis, that we looked at. Well, Tilray today may form a to B equals CD pattern to the upside. The swing point that it's dealing with out here was from January 18th. That did 19.6 million shares. In 2 hours of trading, we are at 12 million shares. So it does look like you're going to get an A to B equals CD to the upside inside of Tilray. We'll draw the A to B line. Now, that does require that close above the high. So if it doesn't close above 336, and what I just said, well, is false and misleading. Really wasn't misleading. It just simply wouldn't turn out to be true. And we really need the end of day. You know that. But right now, it sure does look like this is going to confirm an A to B equals CD to the upside with your 1-to-1 price projection in about the 374 level, knowing that just above that at 407, you have a TD 9-count breakdown area. If I look at the weekly time frame chart here for Tilray, what do we have? You've got a Rhodes momentum indicator pattern. That was confirmed last week. Price with inside its profiles. So its battles are at 359 or 427 out there. So thanks so much for waiting an extra day to get your review of Tilray, TLRY, which is the ticker symbol out there. Coda, inside our Tiger's Den, he wants to take a look at ticker symbol MP. So let's get the MPs fired up. That didn't work out there. I don't know why that chart does what it does, but now we'll get MP fired up here. We'll actually see what this instrument is. Well, it actually won't tell me, so I've got to do that in a different page, MP, and that is Materials Corp. So Materials Corp, Coda, if we look at the daily time frame out there, well, that's pretty weird. I got different data on my on my charts out here. So I hope that this is the MP that shows up on your chart here. So if we take a look at MP, what do we know? Today's going to become bar number 9 of a TD 9 count. So Coda, watch today's high. If price closes above today's high tomorrow, the next day, that tells you about a strong upward momentum move. There's an A to B equals CD pattern. I don't think that has completed. Let's draw in the A to B point, and we'll move that over to the C level. So here's your A to B. Let's just move this over to the C point out there. We're getting close. Looks like that's around the 3570 level. So you've got a TD9 count, an A to B equals CD pattern. The A to B equals CD pattern needs that bearish reversal candle top out there. When we come back from this break, we'll finish looking at MP for Coda inside our Tiger's Den. Of course, folks, I'd love to hear from you as well. 877-927-6648 or Steve at TFNN.com.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Let's see if that's so we've got right now, you've got the Dow off 103, S&P's up 58, NASDAQ 396, and the Russell's up 38. Let's go back and finish taking a look at ticker symbol MP out there. So just looking for any other kinds of signals. So the weekly, we can see that weekly is right now taking on resistance, the top of its profile. That's at 34.83. We're at 34.99. TD9 count top, which is going to complete tomorrow. It's going to confirm today and complete tomorrow. And you've got that A to B equals CD. So it does seem like price is going to, now, price is also trading into a swing point from November 15th. 2.3 million shares there. Today so far, you're at 1.1. So you're moving to that swing point with volume. If you close into that swing point, that means at above 34.91 or 34.98, odds favor that price moves higher tomorrow and then completes that TD9 count then, and then perhaps we see a pullback or a retracement. The only thing else that I would be watching out here, the only thing else that I would be watching, isn't that wonderful grammar out there, Coda? If we take a look at the 30-minute time frame, we will see a confirmed TD9 count top. In order for price to negate that signal, you need to see a 30-minute close above 35.09. So I'd be watching that. This could simply be setting up a short-term pullback to that oscillator and change line at 34.33. So that's MP. I hope that helps you out. Thank you so much for your request. Let's go to the next request coming from a guppy inside the Tiger's Den. He'd like to take a look at XBI. So as we take a look at XBI, one thing we can see is that it's trading out at 91.64. It is above yesterday's high. We know that is a bullish signal. The weekly is above last week's high. We know that's a bullish signal. The monthly is above last month's high. So those are bullish configurations inside of XBI. You're asking about a weekly consolidation breakout pattern out here. Let me just simply open up the charts and see what I see. So if you're calling this a breakout, then I'd say that, or a consolidation, I'd have to say it's still within inside that pattern. What I mean by that is I would look at the consolidation this way. Let's draw in what Stevie sees out here. This is more of an art than it is a science. But I would say this is basically the consolidation pattern that we're looking at. So it's still trading inside of that. Now, on a weekly basis, you do have a confirmed TD9 count. So your real resistance level here is the high of that pattern, and that is at 95.18. If price can close above 95.18, that's going to suggest a further move higher. Perhaps that then would create that weekly consolidation breakout. And if you're asking where could that take you to, we're not there yet, but that could take us up in towards the 128-ish level. So that's the weekly pattern. I know you're looking for really the longer-term assessment on the XBI. If we look at the monthly time frame chart, you've got price above its red oscillator and change line. Not as powerful as being above a green oscillator and change line, but still powerful nonetheless. And being above that is a better thing than a worse thing out there, is a more bullish thing than a bearish thing. And so this is suggesting a move up to the 101.98. So now let's go back and take a look at that daily time frame chart for XBI. What we have here is price is headed into a swing point. It is taking on that swing point right now. That swing takes you back to August 11th. 12 million shares traded hands that day. So far today, XBI has done 4.9 million shares. So it's moving into that swing point with volume. It should go test that high as long as it closes in there, and that high being 95.18. So everything looks pretty good. Maybe it was this daily consolidation area that you were looking at as the consolidation pattern. So that's another possibility. I'll just simply draw in that rectangular box, but the weekly one is one that I'd be really paying attention to. But on a daily time frame, we've got, I would say, I'd say you've got this consolidation pattern, something like about this. And so if we just simply take that pattern and move that to the top of the breakout level out here, that would give us a price projection around 97.40. Again, that gets us back really into the highs from August out there. We're already saying that that is a likely outcome, which is test the 95.18 area. So that's what I see when I take a look at XBI McGuppy. I hope that that helps you out. If not, please write back and let me know what other piece of information you need, and I will get right to it. Our next request is coming inside the Tiger's Den, and that is from Duffy, who wants to take a look at ticker symbol AFRM. What a beauty this is. Last couple of days, gigantic move. Price taking out, or appears to be taking out, or at least testing its TD9 count breakdown level of 2168. You are in bar number 9. It's a wide-ranging bar. Markets don't typically end on wide-ranging bars. I'd say odds favor that a firm goes on to make a higher high tomorrow, and that it completes its TD9 count pattern tomorrow. Now, that would suggest a pullback. That could be a large pullback. And I'm not, even though I will say this, I'm not saying this. $15.79 would be its target to the downside. If I look at the weekly time frame, which we are, a beautiful TD9 count bottom, Rhodes momentum indicator bottom, and price trading above breakdown resistance there, 2168. So this signaling to you and I, it's only bar number 4 that it wants higher price. So that looks pretty good. The 30-minute chart for a firm has negated its TD9 count top, so that tells you about a strong momentum day for the 30-minute time frame. You can see the TD9 count top completed at 11, was negated at 11:30 out there, and that suggests that we should see higher price. So the question was, is a firm done? And I don't think that it is. I'd watch the short-term time frame charts because we still are in the TD9 count, the bar number 9 out there, and you could get a top today. It's just typically markets do not end on wide-ranging bars, and this is quite a wide-ranging bar, both on the daily and the weekly time frame, and therefore I think we should get to that bar following bar number 9, and perhaps after tomorrow we'll see some intraday signals out there that suggest that price should pull back. So I hope that helps you out as well, Duffy, and thank you so much for the request. Let's see if we had anything coming in by email. By email out here, we've got Tim. Tim R. writes in, Summer Rally, says, hey, Steve, haven't emailed you in a while. Just curious where you see the broad market heading the rest of the year. Do you think that we've hit the bottom? Big rally today. Just wondering what your thoughts are. Thank you, Tim. So, Tim, good question. Good question. The first caveat out here, I guess I'd answer your question with a question. What do you think the odds are that we see World War III occur this year? And we've already got a war that's going on. And the reason I ask that is apparently you've watched the show for a while, you've seen me go through my war charts out there. And the moment that it's determined somehow that the U.S. is in some type of war, what we've seen with the markets is they take an immediate dive out there. So I think that the biggest concern, or one of the biggest concerns with regard to answering that question is, what are the odds of us entering into some type of war, or the market sensing that we are in there? If you think that that's a likely occurrence in 2023, and I don't know whether it is or it isn't, well, that's your real risk. Because what your question was, do we have a good bottom out there? To answer that question, let me just come back to these firm charts. Now, let's not pay attention to the profile levels out here, because I'm going to go ahead and put up the NDX chart. We're going to take a look at the weekly chart, which I believe has that Rhodes momentum indicator bottom. It does. Where was it? Give me 1 second here. Let me just change to a different panel and see if on another screen, if something pops up. No, it's not there. Darn. Where was it? And it's not there. Okay, well, maybe I somehow deleted something, which I shouldn't have deleted, but apparently I did. So let's go back and let me now try to find where did I put those NDX charts here. So here's the NDX chart on a weekly basis. What I was going to do to help answer your question, Tim, was to point out I had a different file where I was just showing the Rhodes momentum indicator bottoms on a weekly time frame. And what they do, especially inside the NDX 100, I've got to add more data here. They have identified really significant bottoms. There are a couple that have failed. Everything has a chance for failure. If I just put 7,500 days in here, try to head back. I'm just looking for the most recent weekly Rhodes momentum indicator bottom in the NDX 100, and the system's not letting me do that. I'll try to get that set up here when we come back to, here it is. It's right back here. That formed in November of 2008.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. So we're having a little discussion before we went to that break. Tim had asked a question. What's the outlook for the rest of the year? What's my outlook? It's really not my outlook. What are the charts outlook for the rest of the year? So what we have as I said, the first risk that we've got is if the stock market ever considers the U.S. to have entered World War III. Now we can see the escalation going on in Europe, but as long as there's no U.S. boots on the ground, so to speak, as long as tanks aren't running through cities in the U.S., what that could really lead to is a significant move to the upside, because money's got to park itself somewhere. And it's not going to park itself in a war-torn area. So we know that. So the U.S. would be the logical place for that money to park itself, and that just simply could take the market substantially higher out there. So that's one thing. We know that we took a look at we briefly looked at the weekly chart for the NDX 100, which back in this recent past October did form a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. I believe the last one that we saw before that was back in 2008. That identified a pretty good bottom. Now, these charts that we're looking at here, get to the point, Stevie. Well, I've got a lot of points. Here is the weekly charts for the U.S. Primary U.S. indices out here. You've got the S&P upper left, NASDAQ in the upper right, NASDAQ 100 that is, the Dow in the lower left, and the Russell 2000. What we can see now is we have clear breaks of those descending price channels out there. So that is suggesting that we have a change in trend. So that adds to the idea of a significant bottom for that October lows that we saw out there. However, and this is the big however, global capital is primarily going to park itself inside the Dow, the large cap stocks out there. And if you take a look at this set of charts, I've got a number of different trend lines. I probably should just turn the green ones off because I'm most interested in the yellow ones out here. Of course, I do have this trend line running off of the 2016 area out there, and that seems to have contained price. But the other concern right now is that these descending trend lines, a price inside that the Dow itself has not been able to take that out. And so, Tim, I would say this is trying to send you and I a message. If this pattern fails, price breaks out, this stage here above these descending trend lines out there, then we have a different pattern or a different story that really would join along what we see inside the S&P and the Russell and the NDX 100. So I think that there's caution to that caution could just simply be to anticipate some type of retracement out there. So I hope that helps you out. I tried starting something during the breakout there. That proves to have been a mistake because that simply ties up my machine. And at least when I say my machine, I'm really referring to those white background charts. So much so right now, it's so tied up. Oh, here, I'll get back to it. I'll show you at least what I was trying to do. Oh, it's there right now. Well, shoot. Let me go back to it. So what I was trying to do during that break, maybe to kind of help understand what's going on play-by-play from a daily time frame, and this is a new chart here that I have added to the end-of-day newsletter. Okay, it's populated. Okay, so we've got it. So this is the top 10 stocks inside the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ 100, the Russell, and the semis. Now, some of the categories you'll see don't have 10 stocks. That's because they're included in one of the other indices. So I can't put Apple twice on the chart. But we know Apple is part of the NDX 100. When we look at the NDX 100 stocks here, it's not there. Why? Because I've got the top 10 without Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, Google, and Tesla because they are up above. So anybody can take a look at what those stocks are telling us. So this is providing us right now, Tim, on different time frames, what the current signals are. So this uses all of Stevie's tools out there. This is using our TAS market profiles. It's using the oscillator and change line. It's using TD9 counts, Rhodes momentum indicator bottom signals, using the whole 9 yards out here to help us understand what the current outlook is. Now, these are not in order of the from 1 to 10 from a weighting standpoint, but if we take a look at the Dow, you got United Health breaking down. The Caterpillar says its bull market is over. Honeywell is bearish. So these are part of the top 10 that are out there. We do have some breakout moves going on. So, but we take a look at the weekly, the monthly charts out here. So this gives you your time frames. But what this also does, is just curious, where are we at? How many of these are showing TD9 count patterns out there? It turns out you've got analog devices as something to be paying attention to. Qualcomm, something to be paying attention to. Costco, Costco Wholesale, that is. Meta Platforms. You've got Tesla. Tesla's looks like that has formed bar number 8, or maybe that was yesterday. Perhaps today is bar number 9. You've got Microsoft out there in bar number 9. That was yesterday's pattern, completing that today. And so it also shows you top or bottom signals. Also, Chapman wave counts out there, all the G's. Those would be bottom signals out here. Chapman wave to the downside. And then the capital letters are the ones to the upside out there. So I know there was a lot of bloviating, but I was trying to answer your question, Tim. And I'll just summarize it like this. I'll say we'll come back. I really think it has to do with the Dow stock, the Dow itself, and I think we need to be concerned, and I haven't been able to completely interpret it, other than to say it has lost its momentum. And if it's lost its momentum and capital is not flowing into the U.S. out there, well, then that says maybe we are getting ready for at least a retracement, a decent retracement out there. So I hope that helps you out. Thanks so much for the question. I hope that I did a decent job of trying to answer that for you. Let's go to our next question. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier, and that is coming in from Nicholas. And Nicholas says, hey, Steve, would you please go over Tesla to enter a short? So absolutely. So let's put up Tesla. We just saw that on the tool that I put together for subscribers, so they understand exactly where the top 10 instruments for the primary indices are. We knew that this showed us that we were in bar number 9. So it becomes a real easy tool for you to just simply go and take a look at what those stocks are doing, and go use your own stock charting tools out there to assist you. So in the case of Tesla, you're asking where's a good place to enter a short position. So Tesla is traded above yesterday's high. It's trading above. Now, I don't see an A to B equals C to here. I don't think that the retracement was a 0.382 retracement out there. So you've got a TD9 count pattern on the daily time frame, with price right now kind of targeting, it's trading into it, the swing point from December 1st. That swing point had 80 million shares. So far today, you're into it with about 105 million shares. So it's pushing higher. So, Nicholas, what that says is if price today closes above 191.80, we're at 192.35 right now, then price should at least go tag the high of that swing point. It's not much higher. It's up at the 198.92 level. But what this would then suggest to you and I is that its TD9 count should complete tomorrow. It'll confirm today, bar number 9, and that maybe that is the high out there. So that's what I take when I take a look at the daily time frame. The weekly and the monthly aren't helping you and I out. So what you would need to do for Tesla is then go down to some short-term time frame charts. So the end of its rally may be near. just a retracement at this stage here is what we would call it. Because price is above the top of its profile, and that would really become the first target, which is right around 180.68. But I wanted to look at the 30-minute chart for you, Nicholas. And on a 30-minute basis, we have a TD9 count that was negated. It was negated at 11 o'clock this morning. It completed at 10:30. Now, there are Rhodes Momentum Indicator signals that have been triggered here. Those are automatically drawn. Those are the black diagonal lines. So if you were to get a bearish reversal candle, then Tesla would be identifying a short-term top. What you really need to see here, you need to see Tesla break through support. And we take a look at Tesla right now. If you take a look at, this is the 30-minute chart, we have not seen Tesla close below a TD9 count breakout level. The last time we saw one of those fails was back at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on January 18th. That means 171.44 is a real key area for you to watch and observe. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. My apology for not showing the charts for Tesla. You can see the TD9 count pattern that's in play out here. Here's the swing point I was referring to back on December the 1st that it's moving into. And here's the 30-minute charts, just simply so you can see that real quickly. You'll see that there's the potential that we're getting a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top right now. Just depends on where price closes. I'd say if it closes around 191.70, we probably have a three-river evening star to pull back to the 186 area out there. So watch how this candle forms during the next 6 minutes out there. The next request, or the final request for the day, comes from who? This is for Dennis, who wants to take a look at Google. And the question is, hi, Steve, what's the short-term outlook for Google? Thanks, Dennis. So Google right now is confirming an A to B equals CD to the upside. So it's passing its swing point. The B point out here of it, which was January 23rd's high, pulls back into a low on January 26th. It was about a 387, so 382 retracement out there. So it qualifies in our A to B equals CD moves here. So the one-to-one price projection is up around the 111 area. That's what the daily time frame shows us. The weekly shows price above last week's high, above the top of its profile. We're trading right now into the center of the bullish structured monthly profile. This is where a counter trend rally would end if it were to end in Google, and that's at the price point of 107 and change out there. We'll just simply call it 108. We're trading basically at about that level. So short term, if we take a look at Google, let's look at the 30-minute chart, see if there's anything else out here that we've got to be aware of. I don't see a topping pattern. I take that back. Certainly there's an A to B equals CD that signaled a top back here at the 11 a.m. time frame on a 30-minute basis because that was a bearish shooting star. Price should pull back towards its oscillator and change line, currently 104.78. So that's the real short term. But I think the shorter term that you were looking for, could be wrong, was the daily time frame, and you've got a nice confirmed A to B equals CD to the upside. Now, that does, we've got that NQ out there. The NQ is going to complete that TD9 count top. If in fact we see the NQ start to pull back, will Google move higher? It may. Folks, stay tuned. We've got great programming lined up. I'll see you tomorrow. I believe tomorrow I'm going to be doing the normal show from 11 to 12. So we'll see you then. Have a terrific Thursday. We'll see you on fantastic Friday. Take care, folks.